I knew I was in for a week when the HOA president's son dialed 911 because I locked my own side gate. Yep, my gate, my latch, on my hinge, then told the responding officer my backyard was a public path. You know what I mean? The kind of lie that's so confident you almost check your deed just to be sure you didn't accidentally purchase a city park. He had no clue that by the time this was over, I'd yank on a loose thread and pull an entire developer deal in, a petty little scheme running right under my fence line into the daylight for the whole neighborhood to see. Let me back up a sec. My name's George Holland, and I believe in three things: good coffee, wired internet, and the satisfying click of petty justice landing squarely where it belongs. Most days in Birch Ridge Meadows were quiet enough to hear the sprinklers argue with the cicadas. My wife, Diane, calm in a crisis, lethal with a spreadsheet, kept our little fortress humming. Cameras backing up to the cloud, phone logs cataloged, smart lights dimming like theater curtains. Out front stood my pride, a brick mailbox I'd laid by hand, plumb as a sermon and solid as a promise, brass numbers catching the sun like they were proud to live there. Then one humid Tuesday night in July, order lost a fist fight with chaos. It wasn't a crash so much as the sound of a jaw-breaking metal groaning, masonry grinding, dignity leaving the scene. I peeled back the blind and watched steam ghost up from a pearl-white Lexus lodged halfway into my lawn, nose buried in the rubble of my masterpiece. The driver's door opened, and out unfolded Tyler, Fulmer 18, going on invincible, baseball cap backward, Mom's HOA crown invisible but heavy on his head. Your mailbox just jumped out, he said, kicking a brick, testing if arrogance could defy gravity. Tyler, I told him, 10 feet away, slippers crunching on gravel. That's my lawn, that's your mother's car, and those are the first words you want to spend tonight? He shrugged into the family posture, arms wide. Responsibility, nowhere muttering that anyone could have done it. I glanced up at my doorbell cam, then to the tiny dome under the garage eave, then, privately, to the best idea I ever stuck in a tree. The birdhouse camera across the street, my little owl with excellent night vision. Call your mom, I said. You're going to need her. Morning arrived with sunlight, as unforgiving as a ledger. The Lexus had been towed away, but tire tracks scarred the turf like signatures. I was nursing a coffee when the mail carrier handed me a crisp envelope with the HOA crest. Inside, because of course, was a $500 violation for hazardous, non-compliant curb structure. My pulverized mailbox was now a menace I had apparently unleashed upon an innocent neighborhood. Sign flourish, loop, threat be Karen Fulmer, president for life in her own mind. Diane read the letter, eyes cool, voice cooler. Escalation, she said the way some people say hurricane. Before the coffee cooled, Birch Ridge Connect lit up with Karen's post. Reminders about certain properties that allow unapproved curb installations to endanger residents. No names. No need. The comments came quick tut-tuts from the timid, smiley-faced concern from the usual choir. Diane's fingers were already flying. Archiving everything, she murmured, tapping like a jazz drummer. Timestamps. User IDs just in case. All right, scene partner act 1 ends, the hook lodges deeper, and the counterpunch takes shape. I spun my chair, my Office 3 monitors glowing like a small control tower in, queued up exhibit, doorbell cam, the crash, the porch light stumbling awake. Exhibit B. The garage corner cam, better angle, clear as conscience, the Lexus swerves, not drifts, and bricks leap like shrapnel. The door opens, Tyler staggers, smirks, kicks. Arrogant little punk, I said, not entirely under my breath. Diane scribbled, establishes timeline, impact, behavior. And then a birdhouse. Exhibit C was a gift-wrapped confession. Tyler's face lit by his own phone, the immortal words, bro, watch this, and the deliberate turn of a steering wheel no one forced. It would have been enough. But Karen never stops at enough. She threatened, in person, on my lawn, with 2 bored toadies at her back like pilot fish. Your mailbox is over the property line, she declared, voice sharp enough to peel paint. Violation of Section 8, Paragraph 4. I could have produced the original survey right there. Didn't need to. Diane stepped onto the porch with a teacup and a tone that could shave glass. Funny, she said sweetly. The county pinned it exactly years ago. But do keep going, I'm recording your confidence. Karen's color shifted from righteous to furious to a kind of purple that worries doctors. Neighbors pretended to study petunias. We let her perform. Bullies dig their own holes if you leave the shovel out. Phase 2 bait the hubris. That afternoon, I staged the garage like a high school play. Side door left conveniently unlocked, a useless old server tower blinking with a red LED like it contained national secrets, a hidden motion cam overhead, floodlights on a delay, a silent alert to our phones. I stood outside within earshot of Mrs. Henderson in the neighborhood, newswire in, told my brother on speaker that the hard drive, with all the footage, was still in the garage waiting to be copied tomorrow. The hook was set. At 1:17 a.m. bus. Motion, garage. The door creaked, a shadow sidled in. And there he was, Tyler in a hoodie, flashlight bobbing like a guilty conscience. He found the decoy, squared up, and I flipped the main lights with all the drama of a Broadway reveal. Looking for something, Tyler? I asked, steady as a metronome. Diane, unseen, opened the main garage door to the world. Lights spilled down the driveway like a confession. Neighbor Nate was already on his porch, phone up, popcorn spirit in hand. Sirens wailed, closer to the kind of soundtrack you can't argue with. Karen arrived behind the cruisers in a brand-new loaner Lexus, hurricane in heels, tossing accusations like confetti. Officer, arrest him, lured my son. The cops were unflappable, body cams blinking, eyes taking in the overturned toolbox, the decoy server, the teen with the raccoon story. I offered Exhibit D, the live clip on my phone of Tyler slipping through the side door and lunging for my recording. Karen shrieked, deep fake, at a volume that scared actual birds out of trees. The sergeant, dead calm, asked if there was more. Oh, was there more? We screened the birdhouse footage on a patrol tablet. The neighborhood gathered like an audience at a drive-in-the-line bro, watch this, echoing down our street. The crash silencing even the gossips. Then the hidden garage cam break-in, panic grab, me guarding the phone like it was the nuclear football. And here's the twist: you asked for the crack in the Queen's Court. Carol, the stern-faced board member who'd flanked Karen earlier, stepped forward, voice trembling but clear. Karen, is this true? Bob, the other board member, looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, including the dentist. You could feel the power structure sag. By sunrise, the forum was a bonfire. The emergency recall was posted by Carol herself. The agenda, a single bullet: President Fulmer's conduct. The landslide vote came fast. Neighbors who'd swallowed quiet for years suddenly found their voices. Bogus fines for trash cans, letters about garden hose colors, liens waved like threats, all of it spilled out in a chorus. By sunset, Karen was out. My $500 violation rescinded with an apology so formal it practically saluted, and Tyler had a date with the court calendar he couldn't snooze. Court day wasn't Flashino TV drama, just the clean lines of consequence. Judge Albright watched the videos, let the silence do most of the talking, and then spoke with a weight that made everyone sit taller. Mr. Fulmer, she said evenly, this isn't an indiscretion, it's a pattern. License suspended for a year. 200 hours of community service, specifically weekends on county road crews, cleaning the rights-of-way he'd once weaponized as excuses. Full restitution for my mailbox. A trespass fine. And the chef's kiss penalty and apology letter pinned to the top of our community portal for 30 days. Public truth in the same square where the lie tried to live. Outside, his lawyer handed me a cashier's check. Tyler mumbled sorry, the word deflating between us. I wasn't looking for poetry. I wanted systems to work, and they had. But I still had one more piece of punctuation to add. A few weeks later, under a sky the color of clean cotton, my new mailbox stood at parade, restry built by a mason who loved his craft, brick shade richer, mortar tight as a drum, brass numbers shining like they knew they'd survived a war. A county surveyor had sunk a tiny official peg an inch inside my linear metal exclamation point you could stub a lie on. I wiped the non-existent dust from the top, flipped the flag up and down just to feel that satisfying thwack, and caught a curtain twitch across the street. Karen's silhouette hovered, then retreated, queen without a court, empire reduced to a window. Brenda, our mail carrier, rolled up and laughed when she saw the upgrade. "She's a beauty, George," she said. I held out a single envelope addressed to my brother inside. A printed copy of the apology letter, phrases like "deeply regret" and "respect others' property," marching down the page like little reformed soldiers. I slid it into the box and raised the flag final act. Final click. And about that locked side gate and the public path. Funny thing how paperwork appears when people are finally looking. The same board that once rubber-stamped whatever Karen wanted dug through old developer notes and found the little easement fantasy she loved to wave around didn't exist. The plan, she'd hinted at someday, connecting yards with a walking cut-through, was a developer's wish list bullet from a draft packet that never got approved, never got recorded, never got real. Carol put it on the agenda. The board voted to forbid any private-to-private cut-throughs without a recorded easement and a 2/3 community vote, and the fence line stayed exactly where the deed says it belongs. Yeah, that happened. So when do you stand your ground, and when do you call the cops? You stand your ground the second your piece is threatened, and you hold it with fax videos with timestamps, surveys with seals, receipts that don't blink. You call the cops when your case is so tidy, even a tired judge can read it like a grocery list. You don't scream. You don't swing. You build. You document. You show. And if you're very lucky, you raise a little red flag at the end that clicks like a period. Diane met me on the porch with 2 tall glasses of iced tea, condensation dripping like applause. We clinked certified petty, she said, deadpan, and watched the street go quiet again, like a stage after a curtain call. Some people learn with a tap on the shoulder. Some people need the lights, the sirens, and a crowd. Me? I'm partial to truth on a screen and a check that clears. Tell me, where's the line for you between playing nice and pushing back, between letting a bully breathe and taking away the megaphone? Have you ever had to stand your ground with an HOA, a boss, a neighbor? Did it get messy, or did it get right? If this story stirred something in you, if you've got thoughts about what justice looks like on a quiet street, or a tale of your own from the front lines of petty tyranny, drop it below. Share what you do, what you have done, what you wish you'd known sooner. And if you want more stories like this, messy, true, a little funny, and a lot satisfying, stick around. Add your voice and tell me where you're listening from today. You know what I mean?